This is the second video for writing formulas for molecular compounds. Again, we're going to look at an example, but we're going to use your note to kind of structure our thinking here just a little bit. What you need to be able to do to write formulas for molecular compounds is write the symbols, identify the number of atoms from the prefixes, mark down the subscripts, and please don't use charges or crisscrosses. So you can't be a wimp. You got to be able to do these things. Okay, and we're going to kind of use an example here, and then I'll write down another example, and you can pause the video and kind of work through that. So dicarbon hexafluoride. So the first thing you do is write the symbols. Well, how do you do that? Well, look at the name. We've got dicarbon. We've got carbon. From our periodic table, we know that carbon is C. We also got hexafluoride. So what's fluoride? Well, from the back of your periodic table, you could check to see that fluoride is actually, well, it's fluorine. So we write F. So that's write the symbols, W. Then you're supposed to identify the number of atoms from the prefixes. Now, what's a prefix? Well, the prefix is the first part of the word just before the chemical name. So we got di and hexa. All right. Then, once you've identified what the prefixes are, you're supposed to mark down the subscripts. And the subscripts actually come from these prefixes here. All right. So the di will be give the subscript for the for the carbon, and the hexa will give us the subscript for the fluorine. So di, if you look at your back of your periodic table, di means 2. So that means we've got C2, and we've got hexa, fluoride. Hexa means 6. So now our formula is C2F6. And the last step in your notes says, please don't use charges or crisscrosses. So that means we don't use this periodic table. We don't use it, and we don't do something silly like crisscrossing like we did for the ionic compounds at all. We don't do that. Okay. Now let's do one more example, and let's see if you can figure this one out on your own by going through those same steps. And let's see here. Why don't you do, let's say, tricarbon pentahydride. Tricarbon pentahydride. So go ahead and pause the video and try and figure this one out. Alright, we're back. Let's do tricarbon pentafluoride. So carbon again is C. Hydride, like I said in some previous examples, and is hydrogen. We're just taking hydrogen and changing the ending to IDE. And now we look at the prefixes. We've got tri and penta. Tri means 3. That belongs to the carbon. And we've got pentahydride. That's 5 hydrogens. And there's our formula.